So are you blessed?
Always.
I think I am. We are here. We are alive. We are not in the hospital. So that's a blessing, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and when looking at health, I found that health is a wonderful thing. In fact, I find joy in being healthy. I find confidence in being healthy. I find beauty in being healthy. And yet we are surrounded by so many sick people. And ourselves, we have so many diseases growing inside of us. Many times we don't even know until it's quite late. I'm not gonna say too late. All right. So this is why I feel so passionate about when talking about health. You know, because I think that we can do a better job taking care of ourselves. And in all my research, one of the things that keep coming up is the issue of weight. Weight is linked to so many diseases. That's why it's so important that we talk about it. So that's why our topic today is how to lose weight fast. So what I'm going to share with you is the product of my research over the past couple of years, you know, because that's when I started being concerned with my weight. Believe me, I was bigger than that. Right? So, yeah. So I've tried different methods and strategies. Some work, some didn't. Sometimes I lose and then I get it back. You know, I read many books, not just about weight, but about health in general. And weight has always been a concern. So the first question that we need to ask ourselves is why do we gain weight? Why? The simple answer that I find is because we want to. We gain weight because we want to. Okay, I know we may be a little bit confused about saying we want to because most people want to lose weight, you know. And I want to say that if you are overweight or obese, you don't need to feel ashamed about it. You don't need to feel bad about it. Because really 90% of the cases, it's not our fault. It's not our fault if we are getting weight. There are so many reasons for that. There's ignorance. We are never taught how to properly take care of ourselves. So we can blame ourselves for not knowing how to take care of ourselves. Most of our parents didn't know that. These are not really the kind of topics that are taught in schools. And even in nursing school or medical schools, they don't teach you how to take care of your body. And sometimes also you may know how to take care of it, but you can't apply it. You know, how many of us know that we have to exercise? Almost everybody here knows that we have to exercise, but when we are looking at all the stressors of life, work, balancing work, schools, kids, how many of us can really have time to get to the gym and work out? We tend to give priority to our kids, to the bills that we have to pay, than to ourselves. So all these contribute to us getting weight. And also one very important factor is that we are dealing with people, we are surrounded by people and industries that want us to be overweight, that want us to be sick. And we'll touch a little bit on that, especially the food industry, the pharmaceutical industries. I mean, I know that you have heard of many things about this, talking about the plots of the pharmaceutical industries and food industries and all this stuff. And they tend to label them as conspiracy theories, you know. So we're not going to dive into these kind of things. We are going to stick to the one that we know that are verified. So we'll touch a little bit on that too. So all these factors contribute to us gaining weight. So we don't have to feel bad about the size that we are right now, but we can take control of it. And this is why I said we want to. I want everybody here to take control of themselves. I want to empower you, that you know that you can get to the weight that you want to be. You can decide what you want to look like. And that's really what we're going to talk about today. So let's talk about this guy. Do you all know who this guy is?
No.
Never.
Like Christian Bale?
Okay. Huh? His name is Christian Bale. Anybody have seen Batman? Batman, The Dark Knight? Okay.
It's true.
Not the new ones?
No, I'm not into that.
Okay. So he is the guy who played Batman, The Dark Knight. He has a very interesting history, in terms of actor. He's one of the best actors out there. Played in so many movies. So look at him. Decent size, look good. Very happy man. This was him in 2004. Like you can see, he's only bones and skin. He dropped to 121 pounds to play a movie called The Machinist. So he just went to play the movie. For him to play the role, he had to drop some pounds. So that's how he became. 6 weeks later, he started playing Batman. So this is him 6 weeks later. Getting bulk, working out, gaining weight, because he needed to play the superhero. So, can I have the light? I think it's getting a bit dark. Alright, thanks. Alright. So he was 185 pounds now. Then, that's him again, dropping to 98 pounds to play another movie called Rescue Down. Then, he gained weight to play Terminator. Then he became skinny again to play The Fighter. Then that's him playing the last Batman. Then that's him playing American Hustle. And that's him in 2017. Played Dick Cheney in a movie called Vice. So, like you can see, he plays with his weight. He monitors his weight basically based on what he wants to achieve. He has total control of his body. His basic weight is 185. But he can increase it or decrease it as he pleases.
Very fast, too.
Very fast too.
Isn't it unhealthy?
What?
Isn't that unhealthy?
Oh, we're gonna talk to that. We're gonna get to that. So what I want you to get from the story is not really how he did it. It's mostly the mental aspect of it. That you can achieve it. If that's what you want. You have to have it in your mind that you can achieve it. That's really what I want you to get from what's your motivation? What's your motivation? So I was looking at all these things. So 2 years ago, I made a bet with my wife. We bet, to lose 20 pounds in 2 months. If we don't achieve it, the person doesn't achieve it, got to pay the other person $500. So, gotta tell you that, unlike me, I was never really an athlete, but my wife was an athlete in high school, playing basketball and all kind of other sports. So, when we met, like maybe 14 years ago, she was pretty fit. I don't know, every year I just started seeing her gaining weight. And then when she had the kids, then she went off the hook. So we have both of us have been working at losing weight thing, you know. So $500 for the loser. Do you think that we achieved it?
Yes.
Yes, we did. We are doing everything. Each one, we are on our side. We did it because I don't want to pay her $500. And she certainly didn't want to pay me that. So money has always been a good motivator. In any case, if you're gonna lose money or make money, you can achieve beyond your dreams when money is involved. But most of us, we are not in the position that these people are. We're not in the position as Jessica Simpson or Christian Bale. So we need to find in ourselves the motivation to do it. It's up to us to find a cause that is great enough to push us, a cause that is great enough to motivate us to wake up, go to the gym, go do this, go do that, work on our diet and all these things. So the first aspect is mental. So let's get to the big one though, eating. Why do we eat? Why do we
Nourish
eat?
our body.
Nourish the body.
Make us healthy. Happy.
Make us happy and healthy.
To feel good.
To make you feel good. Yeah.
You know, it's like to feel good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you basically nail it right, because really we mostly eat to feel good. But is that the real reason why we should be eating? That's the question. Most people, the rationale will tell us differently, right? Let's take a look at this. Let's look at an organic carrot and a donut. Let's look at what they have in there. So we have glucose in a carrot and we have glucose in a donut. We have amino acid in a carrot. Amino acid is what basically make the proteins. That's what our body uses to make proteins. Glucose is basically sugar, carbohydrates. So the carrot have amino acid and the donut have a little bit of amino acid because because of the fire it's cooked, so heat tend to destroy modified amino acids. So we need the proteins. Fatty acids is basically fats. We'll talk a little bit more about them after. We're gonna get to them into more detail about them. So the carrot has some fatty acids, and the donut doesn't have fatty acids. The donut has fats. So we'll talk a little bit more about the difference between fat and fatty acid. But fatty acids basically is mostly the healthy aspect of it. So we're gonna break it down a little bit. And then enzymes. Enzymes also very good for our body. We need our body basically run on enzymes. Enzymes are types of proteins. That's what they make so many they allow so many functions in our body to happen. Then we can't live without enzymes. All right. So carrots have enzymes. Donut doesn't. Vitamins and minerals. I think that you've learned about them. Vitamin A, B, C, minerals. Sodium, potassium, all these things. So the carrot have vitamins and minerals. Does the donut have any? No. Water. Does carrot have water? Yes. That's why we can make juice, carrot juice. You know, we get the water. Do not try to juice a donut. You get anything. No, you won't get nothing. And one thing that we don't need in our food is toxins. Carrot doesn't have any toxins, but the donut does. So if you were to think about what you are eating, if you had to choose between a carrot and a donut, which one would you pick?
Carrot.
Logically, I think that it's clear that the carrot would be the winner. But what would we pick?
The donut.
The donut.
It's better.
The donut. Because it makes us feel better. No, this is where we start making mistakes in our diet. It's because we make decisions based on our feelings. We make decisions based on how the things make us feel at the time. That's where we start making mistakes. And yet we like to think that we are rational people. You know, the food industry have studied this. The food industry, they know this. They know people don't pick their foods based on how healthy the food is, but based on the taste, based on how it makes them feel. And we will see later on in our presentation how they play into this, and that's how we end up with the crisis, the weight crisis that we are in right now. So we're not here to tell you disregard taste. You know, I mean, the thing has to be enjoyable. You know, let's be clear, it has to be enjoyable. But I want you to be more aware of what you are eating. You know, you got to start making better decisions. Start taking control. Like, it's not just my feelings that matter, because right now this is gonna make me feel good, but later on I'm gonna pay for it. But you guys start also thinking about, okay, what good the food is doing to my body. Am I getting all the nutrients that I need? Because all these nutrients are important. So we don't have the time to break all of them down, because this is not a nutrition course. We're just going over a few things just to get you guys started, you know, things that are not too overwhelming. So let's start by, we're going to skip this. When we are picking foods, the three things that we need to look at mostly. So we're not going to touch on vitamins and minerals, because pretty much every food, especially if you are in the vegetarian world, you know, have vitamins and minerals. The fruits and the veggies loaded with vitamins and minerals. So I'm not gonna, you know, focus on this. So we're to talk mostly about carbohydrates, called carbs and sugar. So I know that you have all heard the low carbs diet and all these things. Fatty acids, fats and amino acids that are proteins. So carbs, they are important to our body, because carbs is what gives us energy. It's the primary source for energy. There are different types of carbs. There are simple carbs, complex carbs. I don't think we need to go into all the details. What the most important things to know is that we have healthy carbs and non-healthy carbs. So we have healthy carbs are mostly our whole grains, our fruits, hopefully in their organic states, you know, like our bananas, beans, whole bread, whole pasta. We have our starch, like rice, potatoes. These are healthy carbs. But when talking about carbs, you got to know two things. Okay, you got to make sure that you have healthy carbs, and you have to pay attention to the amount of carbs. So these are two things that you need to remember about carbohydrate: that they are healthy and the amount of carbs. What are the unhealthy carbs? White breads, white rice,
Donuts.
candies, what?
Donuts.
Donuts. All these, the flour, that refined flour, white flour, sugar that we use, sugar cane. All these things, they are unhealthy carbs.
But just a little bit more, because a carb has a bad name, a bad connotation. You did talk about healthy carbs and then non-healthy carbs, but could you say maybe a little bit more? Because as soon as people eat, I don't eat any carbs, I'm cutting all my carbs, and like they're very proud to say that, like, you know, I'm cutting all my carbs. Could you say a little bit more about that? Because like the lady asked, you know, like is it, you know, like is it carb, and the fruits, is it carb as well? So
yeah, so people got to remember that people in the media, they are all about money. So this is why even when you listen to them, you still have to do your own research and find out the truth about things. You know? Carbs are not bad for the body if you are using healthy carbs, and if you are doing it in a controlled manner. You're controlling how much you are taking, okay? So then it's good for you. Because in this, like in the fruits, that's where you have plenty of minerals, there are plenty of vitamins in them. So where are you gonna get all these vitamins and minerals if you're not eating some carbs, right? If you're not getting some fruits. So if you are doing but you got to make the difference between the healthy one and the unhealthy one. But when they are talking the media, they put everything in the same basket. Everything is in the same basket. So that's why you need to know the difference. So so I just should tell you a little bit about the effect of carbs. There's another effect, and I'm gonna talk about it too. Yes.
I was just gonna say, like, to my understanding, even some vegetables are carbs, right?
Yeah, there are carbs in the vegetables. So yeah, sugar is
cut
in
it
the
out
vegetables.
completely.
Yeah.
But it's just propaganda.
Yes. A lot of propaganda.
Yeah.
Also, the other bad effect that carbs have on the body is that when you take a lot, that's why I talk about the amount. When you take a lot of carbs, the body needs to use that carb for energy. The carbs are fuel, just like gasoline. You put gasoline in your car so your car can run. So you need the carbs for your body to be able to function. But unlike a car, the car has a tank, so it can save the gas. Even if you're not gonna use the gas immediately, you can leave the gas there for a week, 2 weeks, etc. Now, your body doesn't have a tank to store the excess carb. So when you have too much, the body transforms that carb in glycogen. Glycogen go and store that in your muscles. Okay, we're not gonna define what glycogen is. Okay, keep it simple. Keep it simple, right? Keep it simple. But it's stored that in the muscles, right? And when you go exercise, for example. I like to go exercise before having breakfast. Right? Why? Is because I get to use the glycogen stores that are in my muscles, because I don't have the sugar coming from the food to work out, so that force my body to go dig into the reserve, you know, the glycogen reserve in the muscles, and break them down so I can to fuel me, right? So that's what the body does with the carbs. But if you still have too much carbs, the muscle will reach a point where they say, I don't want any more glycogen. Okay, I have too much. So what are the real enemies? Processed food, sugar, I mentioned it already, the refined sugar, the fat, the unhealthy fat, salt, and we're going to come to that. So why do I still put them back here as the real enemies? This is, I just finished a book a few weeks ago called Sugar, Salt, Fat, How the Big Corporations Got Us Hooked. There's something about sugar and fat that I haven't mentioned yet. Is their capacity to make us feel good. Their capacity to act upon the brain and make us want more. The food industry knows that. They know that if they put a certain amount of sugar, because they're not concerned about our health. You know, when you are making something, you put your sugar in your juice or anything like that, you taste it. You see, okay, that's good enough. I don't want to put too much sugar in it, but you're gonna put a certain amount that you just feel it, you know? You feel that sweetness and you're comfortable, and then you drink it. But the food industry, they studied, they don't just like, let's put some sugar and give it to you. They make studies that says, okay, if I put this amount of sugar, would people eat more? Will that make people eat more than the recommended value? Will that make people come back? Because that's what's in their mind. So they found that the more sugar, they have a certain point to reach in terms of sugar to make people come back and eat their food. The more fat they put in the food, the more people want it. And salt also play an important role. So that's why somebody can sit down and eat a bucket of KFC without any problem and enjoy it. Because these things, the fat, the sugar, and the salt, played in your mind and makes you feel good. And the better you feel, the more you want to eat and to keep that feeling. So that's why, so these are not randoms. So we have pizza. What is pizza? It's sugar, fat, and
Meat.
and salt. Sugar, fat, and salt. And people like it. So some people, I know some people who would not eat the side of the pie, the crust of the pie, because it's basically flour. It's pure sugar. But now they put cheese in the crust now. So more people eat the crust also. So all the processed food, whether you're talking about chicken, burger, it's the same thing. Burger, sugar, fat, and salt. Ice cream, sugar, fat, and salt. So they play on these things to make you feel better so that you can keep eating it. You know? So you need to be aware of that, and that so that you can exert control. You got to find the power within yourself to say, okay, I've eaten too much now. I know it makes me feel good, but this is where I need to draw the line. My health is going to suffer from it if I don't stop now. You know? So that's why I don't. So that's why when you're talking about this, I don't want anybody to feel guilty or to feel like bad about themselves, because we all have done it. You know, there are some days that just sit down and you feel like you're eating the whole pile of pizza by yourself. You know, that's what we do. I've been there, done that, and it's still a struggle.
KFC.
But you have to bring that strength. You need to have that power and say, no, that's enough. 2 slices, I'm done. Hmm? Okay. Maybe try one. And the last thing here, excitotoxin. Anybody have heard of excitotoxin?
MSG.
MSG? MSG is one of them. Okay, MSG is one of them. It's the most well-known one.
The other name for it's accent.
Accent?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know about that one. Thanks. Yeah. So
that's the spice, right? Accent
yeah.
spice? Okay.
yeah. So there are different type of MSG of excitotoxins. MSG is the most well-known one, but there's a whole list. You can Google that. So these are chemicals that are put in the food to enhance the taste of the food to make you desire it more. Okay. So that's why I said that the food industry play a big role in us being overweight. They are playing with our mind. They play with the chemicals of our minds. So no wonder we have so many people with mental issues. MSG is one of the contributors to mental issues.
Really?
Yeah.
Repeat that, please?
Yeah.
MSG is the what?
Contributors. One of the contributors to mental issues.
You know what? I had discovered that, like, I cannot tolerate the MSG. And I'm also like, I'm very glad that you're saying that, because I look on the bottle and to see whether there's MSG, but there's certain things you don't recognize that it's like MSG, and then you have the same effect. I had bought something at Price Chopper, Goya. They put a lot of these things in their food, and then I couldn't. It's like my blood pressure kept staying up, and I'm like, why is it? And I started thinking, it seems like it was worse than the MSG, whatever they had. It was, and then when I do the MSG, the reason why I discovered that for about 12 to 24 hours, my mind is like the bunny. Ever heard of a bunny? Energizer bunny. It's just like I can't focus. It's going. So my cousin would cook food, and I said, "Don't put that stuff in it." And she would, as soon as I get home, I would tell her, "Did you put it in it?" Yes, I did. I said, "I told you." So my mind would be like, I can't focus.
Yeah. We gotta think about it. Our minds relies on chemicals to function. We have plenty of chemical processes going on, chemical reactions going on in our minds. That's what allows us to function. Our body controls these chemicals. Now, when we eat those excitotoxins, they go and play with the chemicals of our minds. Just like drugs and alcohol play with the chemical in our minds and cause imbalances and all kind of health issues. We'll touch a little bit on exercise, because exercise has to do with burning calories. So you are taking in calories, you got to make sure that you are burning close to what you're eating, because if you're not burning it, then it's gonna accumulate in your body and your weight's gonna go up. Now, in addition to burning calories and help you lose weight, so exercise has a whole list of benefits for the body. Make your heart stronger, reduce your blood sugar, reduce your blood pressure, strengthen your muscles. So it's pretty good. One of the best exercise that you can do is rebounding, using mini trampoline and jumping. Rebounding I just discovered not too long ago. Once you start digging into health thing, you discover stuff. Very amazing. One of the best thing about rebounding is boost your immune system. Boost your immune system because it helps with your lymphatic nodes. Also, it helps with your balance because you are jumping. NASA, astronauts, they use rebounding a lot. So people especially those who are aging, help maintain their balance so that they don't fall a lot. One other benefit is, where was it? Stimulate lymphatic system, boost energy, and easy on the joints.
What was that?
It's easy. Rebounding is easier on the joints than if you are running. If you run treadmill or running outside, you can feel it in your knees and your ankles. Rebounding because the mat is soft, so it's easy on your joints. So